expose one group of subjects to copy B, expose another group of subjects to copy A, and then measure attitude toward the product after they've seen either A or B. Okay? So the first thing I want you to tell me, putting it in a X, O, E kind of thing, how do I write this design? What should I write?
Expose.
So what's the experimental design for the first one?
Would it be X and then it would be?
Okay, so the first one will be X because we immediately expose it to the manipulation, and then we measure attitude toward B, and the second one will be exactly. We have the manipulation, we expose them to A, then we measure attitude to A, and then the effect will be, so OA minus OA, O plus or something over 1. Okay? Now, let's assume, okay, that we got that we have 4 here, and we have 5 here. Okay, so what can we say?
We should stay with it.
Okay,
Oh, no,
so
yeah, you should stay with it.
based on this, it seems that we should stay with A because A has a more positive attitude than B, or the second group has more positive attitude than the first group, right? Now, are we allowed to say that, or is something there bothering you?
Bothering me.
Yes.
That if we two different groups, so we don't know if it's like, I mean, like, there will be like different people, different samples. So you
Yes.
can't like take conclusions over, like you should like test the same people. Like with the two kind of thing, the two
Well,
copies.
let's assume that they're the same on the sense that we try to have, the same demographics, we randomize between them, and they will divide it into 2 groups. There still may be something that will be different between them.
I think what you're saying is that both groups weren't exposed to both things.
Of course not.
Yeah. So I think that would be an issue. As
Isn't
in,
the
first
exposure
group
to-
the first group didn't see A and the second group didn't see B.
Well, it makes sense because we don't want to do anything.
Will that contaminate?
Well, we wanted to see only one, right? Because we want to know which one is better.
But then you can test them against each other individually. I don't know, that's what I was saying.
But why? Like, what's wrong with this one?
Is it that it's not?
Can I say that A created a more positive attitude than B? And if not, why? Why can't I say that? Does have to do with the fact that these 2 groups and it's a different subject design. Why? What's missing here? As the manager, I can come and say, hey, but did you measure?
To another group?
But you're saying both groups are the same demographics, right?
You're supposed to represent the same thing. But we do have random errors, and we do have
Systematic errors.
systematic errors.
So
We
did
do, but let me put it this way. What happens if first group I did on Monday, which was a nice,
sunny day?
nice rainy day actually, and then the second group I did on Wednesday, which was a nice sunny day. Will that help you understand now why maybe there's some inaccuracy in my measurements? Yes.
So just one group is maybe a little more optimistic that day.
Which will affect what?
So it will affect how they view an ad. I mean, if I'm feeling more optimistic,
So what do I need to measure?
to measure their attitude,
Right.
consistency
So,
attitudes.
exactly. The thing I don't know is what their initial attitude is. Okay, maybe, and again, as much as I randomize and as much as I control, it could be that this group just happened to be in a bad mood, I don't know why, and they just were negative. Now, I care about the relative this problem is to measure initial altitude, which we're going to do in a second. But there's another thing that you can do in order to get rid of this thing or problem, which would be what? It has to do with reliability.
Test it over and over again, it's easy to the same source.
Exactly. I can run just,
Oh,
10 groups
reliability.
of one and 10 groups of the other. Because if there is some reason one is sunny, one is rainy, the probability of always this group getting the rainy days and always this group getting the sunny days is very unlikely. So if I run it for
I already
many, many
moved
times,
over.
I eliminate whatever reason in some specific point of time, this group is better than the other. So I can do that, okay? Again, depending on how much money I have, how much time I have, how much resources I have. Okay, yes.
Would you, for that first group that had rain, it was raining, would you then bring them in every time it was raining?
No, you're bringing different groups, different people, and because it's going to be on different days, different time, the weather should cancel each other.
Okay.
That's why it's randomizing. Another option would be obviously to measure the weather, but then you have to think about all the things that might affect the altitude. Might be that there was construction going on. Might be that it was really hot in the room that day, and there's so many things that can go wrong. Okay, so let's do now another option in which we do measure the initial altitude. So now we have the measurement of the initial altitude. So first, we measure altitude. Then one group C copy A, another group C copy B, and then we measure the altitude at the end. And let's say that this is the result we got. Nicely, both of them have the same altitude. And then that's what they have after they measure. So first of all, let's see if we can write the design. So how should I write the design? For the first one, first group, what do they see? This one.
So initial attitude. Or
Yeah, so what do I write? What symbol should I write?
that.
Sorry? Yeah? We have OX, that's all we can play with, it's not 50%.
One next to,
Like what should we put? Oh, what? We have O1, which is attitude toward the brand once, then what do we have? An X, which will be the exposure of A, and then we have O2, okay? And then the second one will be O3, XD, O4, okay? And then the effect would be what?
All that minus.
What? Exactly.
Where the heck is O's coming
Thanks,
from? O is the observed.
okay, so the difference for the first one and the difference for the second one. Okay? Now, do you think that based on that then, we can say that A is more effective than B? Now, this is not a statistical question, this is a marketing question, and this is where you as researchers and thinkers should go into the equation. Is there anything we did there and what we know about copy A and copy B that might affect the results that we just got? Or can we truly say that A is more effective than B? And again, it's an option, doesn't mean that that's going to happen here, but it is something we need to think about.
It is, but I wouldn't do anything about it because it's too close to each other.
Well,
with
whether
not
this
enough
is
numbers.
different is significant or not, our statistical analysis will tell us. So let's say it is a significant difference. So 15 is bigger than 13.
So then I wouldn't base on one test.
Okay.
Act. I would
If
want to
we
do something else.
duplicate
Maybe.
Again and again, and we still get that there's always A going to be higher than B, we can say for sure that A is better than B, most likely. But there's one thing that maybe we also would like to measure. And of course, it will have to do with the new thing. What did we introduce here we didn't have before? what is the experimental design here different than before? What did we add?
Pre-measure.
Pre-measure of attitude. When we pre-measure an attitude, do you think it might have any effect?
Yes, it has an effect.
Why?
Because they're thinking about their initial attitude and whether or not it should or should not change. So it will affect the answer that they
So
give.
they're actually aware of the
Right.
fact that we are going to test their attitude,